Ty Mitchell. Making a serious run at making your way to the national tournament, you need to start taking care of business. The parts need to start meshing together. For Coffeyville's Red Ravens, they'll go with Casey Benton, T.J. Washington, Joshua Hill, Anthony Jones, and Keon Queen. Now, Queen did not play against the Dragons in the sports arena. He's a big kid, 6'9". But the other four that we mentioned all did. Leading scorer for Coffeyville on the season is T.J. Washington, just under 14 points a game. 11 points for Cedric Rowland, who comes off the bench. Anthony Jones in that starting lineup averaging 12. And those are the standouts for the Red Ravens. For Hutchinson, J.J. Rhymes, the leading scorer in the conference, 21 points a game. Better than that in conference play at 22.3. Devontae Bandu in the top 10 in the conference scoring-wise.
Yeah, both the guys that missed that Hutchinson game, one of those players has a 23-point high on the season. That's Marvin Johnson. Look for him off of the bench. He averages 10. The other one you mentioned, Keon Queen, he will actually get the nod tonight. He averages 6 a game. The one face missing, and you'll say, well, wait a second, he only scored 5 points in the first meeting. He's been wiped clean. Malik Keith, a much better player than he showed earlier in the sports. He's no longer on roster. So Coffeyville comes in with a lot of weapons. You talk about peaking. Both teams are on about the same amount of a streak. Red Ravens have won 4. The Blue Dragons have won 3. So now somebody's streak ends tonight. It makes it so much harder to take a winning streak into the tournament with this tough schedule.
Well, there simply is no tougher schedule in the country in junior college basketball than that faced by the teams in the Jayhawk, who played 26 games. We see one of the officials here tonight, one of my favorites all time, Bill Leonard from Emporia, been around the conference for a long time. He is a players official, likes to talk to the kids, does a lot of preventive officiating.
Can I tell you a funny story about that?
Sure.
You were breaking down both of these teams, and he came over here earlier and he was trying to give you a fist bump, but you were so into the pregame you missed him the first time. But that's how nice of an official he is. He comes back to make sure he shakes your hand.
He has been a great friend over the years, and I think arguably one of the top 2 or 3 junior college officials you'll find anywhere.
Well, and you see him year after year helping out with the national tournament, and it takes a lot to be able to be voted in and respected to be able to do those games, and yet he gets those games year after year.
Well, it'll be fun to see how the Blue Dragons respond. Coffeyville, coached by Jay Herkelman, who's been around longer than any other coach on the men's side of the game in the Jayhawk Conference. A gentleman who is headed for the Hall of Fame at the national tournament this year, the NJCAA Hall of Fame, and he will be a deserving recipient of that honor. At halftime, they'll recognize his 2002 team that went all the way to the championship game of the National Junior College, how much he has enjoyed getting reacquainted with those players. Dragons take the floor. They're in their road reds with blue trim. And the Coffeyville Red Ravens decked out in almost dazzling white with dark red numerals.
I think the interesting thing is with a lot of those jerseys at this level and above, you really don't get to see all that great of detail when you're farther up in the sports arena or even up in the bleachers in just these sections here in Coffeyville. But the closer you get to them, you see all those intricate designs that look so pretty.
Steve Eck up in front of our broadcast position, fine basketball Hutchinson Community College. Coach of the knockarounds, and Devontae Bandu starts the offense with a play to the left side of the floor to Whitfield, bounces it down inside. Now a dish off, inside shot missed by Nuhu and rebounded out by the Ravens. Coffeyville with the basketball. Quickly in the corner, it is T.J. Washington, drives inside, and a lot of time in the lane and maybe too much of it. Nice defense interior-wise for the Blue Dragons as Joshua Hill, trapped in the lane, got called for the infraction.
Josh Hill, just a nice move to get in there at 6'5", but once he got in there, never went up with it.
Bandu takes it to the offensive end for the Dragons. This time Gives to J.J. Rhymes. Back top of the key to Kai Mitchell. Down deep, Whitfield. Lay in good. Robert Whitfield with a nice inside basket. Nice passing by the Blue Dragons. Coffeyville on the attack. Benton has it. Goes behind a pick. Plays right in front of us to Anthony Jones. And now to T.J. Washington. They have it at the top of the key. Here's a drive by Benton. A kick to the corner. And a corner three is up. It is off the mark. Rebound Karams around. Tracked down by Coffeyville. Pulled down by Keon Queen, the 6'9 youngster. And the Red Ravens will keep it alive. Dragons go for a steal. Washington having no part of it. With the basketball, Anthony Jones out front. Fires up a three. It's off the back iron. The long Karam grabbed by Nuhu in the corner. Sideline to J.J. Rhymes. Drives down the right side of the floor. Coffeyville back defensively. Bandu thought about the three. Angle dribble to the left side. Still maintains the dribble. Comes top of the key. Goes right side to Rhymes. Charges in, takes a 17-footer. It's way too hard. Rebounded by Nuhu. Nuhu puts it on the floor. Mistake. Got it back. Got fouled.
That's what Nuhu gives you, is that ability to pull down a rebound every 2 minutes he's in a contest. And he'll give you extra opportunities offensively. He'll secure the rebound side as well.
Nuhu will shoot a couple. The foul, by the way, on T.J. Washington. First infraction of the game. Nuhu's free throw, the first of two, is missing.
Washington was the best player for the Red Ravens in that lopsided loss in the sports arena earlier this season. He had 13 points and 5 rebounds. Only player in double-digit scoring for Coffeyville.
One more for Nuhu. This one is up. It is perfect. And the Blue Dragons have a 4-0 beginning. For Coffeyville, T.J. Washington. Washington shovels it off to Benton. They weave it out front. Now the ball in the hands of Anthony Jones. Jones drives down the side of the lane, comes underneath, reverses it up, doesn't get it high enough on the glass. Rebound grabbed by Josh Hill, back out front. Three is missed by Benton, rebounded out by the Dragons. Whitfield to J.J. Rhymes. On the way to the basket, you can't stop him when he's got that kind of momentum, and J.J. makes it a 6-0 or a 5-0 start. Inside, back and in, and that's going to be traveling. Leaning against the defender was Keon Queen, and the official saw that when the defender moved backwards. Queen simply got whistled for traveling. J.J. Rhymes charges inside, lays it up and in. Dragons lead is 7-0. 2 quick baskets for J.J. Rhymes. For the Red Ravens, Benton drives, runs into traffic, gets it out front to Anthony Jones, rises up for three, back iron, a tap missing, a foul called on the rebound. It is on Josh Hill, overly aggressive, and Hill will pick up his first. Dragons have the basketball, and a very, very nice first 2.5 minutes.
Well, those bigs on the inside having a little trouble settling in for Hill. He had that 3-second lane violation earlier, and now the turnover here.
Whitfield has it this time for the Dragons out front. Nuhu handles on the side. Now Kai Mitchell from the top of the key gives back to Whitfield. Whitfield's a good three-point shooter. Loads one up, doesn't get this one. Coffeyville rebound by Anthony Jones. Jones races back the other direction. On the sideline to Washington. Glides inside, uses the left hand beautifully, scoops it up and in. Very athletic move. Dragons quickly back the other way. A pass to Nuhu, fumbled, but Nuhu able to track it down in the corner. Now Whitfield has it. Now top of the key, a three is up. It is off the mark by Kai Mitchell. Not the shot the Dragons wanted. Coffeyville rebound. Anthony Jones drives down. Lost the handle on it. Might have had some help. And a foul called on the Dragons.
Only the second three-point attempt by Kai Mitchell on the year, and then he comes back on the other side and commits the foul.
So the Blue Dragon foul won't result in any free throws. It is on Kai Mitchell. As Darren pointed out, baseline left inbounds. Coffeyville plays it in to the free throw line. A jumper from there is good. Softly in a cut for Casey Benton. And after the Dragons scored the game's first 7, now Coffeyville scored 4. Dragons throw long against the press. Raekwon Taylor bounces inside. Hands it back at the free throw line to Bandu. Bandu drives by his man, puts it off the window, doesn't get it. Scramble for the rebound. Dragon rebound is by Taylor, and up and in it goes off the fingertips of the young man from Jamaica, New York. It is 9 for Hutchinson. For the Ravens, Benton On the near side of the floor to T.J. Washington. Washington rises up in the air, tosses it to the wing, and a drive inside. Shot won't go for Benton. Offensive follow is blocked out of there by the Dragons and taken away. It is Bandu on the side. Bandu charges. Coffeyville back defensively. Now Whitfield off to Bandu on the left side of the floor. Top of the key, J.J. Rhymes. Rhymes tries to drive by his man and a foul called. It'll be a blocking call against Coffeyville. Casey Benton, the foul, his first.
Good to see guys come off the bench for the Blue Dragons and make an immediate impact. You saw that with Raekwon Taylor, second leading rebounder on this team. Gets an immediate offensive rebound and scores it for 2. Shows you what he can bring to the table. He is one of the league leaders in the conference for field goal percentage.
And now Tyler Cotton in there for J.J. Rhymes, who is not particularly thrilled about coming out of the game at the moment.
He's got off to such a fast start. He found something.
Yeah, he's going right back in.
He can't come back in until the clock ticks. Did the officials notice that? The fans, I think, saw it before the officials because they started to groan. Time has to come off of the clock before he can go back in.
Ball inbounded to Tyler Cotton, the young man from Wichita, to the floor. Now works between the rings. And the Blue Dragons play it to the inside to Nuhu. Nuhu back out to Raekwon Taylor. Raekwon out front. Tyler Cotton drives to the free throw line. Cut off to Bandu. 2 to shoot. Got to put it up. Bandu rises up and misses it off the back iron. And a rebound snared for Coffeyville by Josh Hill. Nice defensive set for the Ravens on that occasion. Jones thought about a 3. Drives to the free throw line. Throws it away. Bandu has it. Man ahead of him. Dragons run the break, and we've got collision and an offensive foul. Oh my goodness, a 3-on-1 break, and the Blue Dragons turn it over.
Bandu just didn't get rid of it in time. Once he did get even half a step sooner, he would have been able to clear it.
We've played a little bit better than 5 minutes. For the Ravens, Anthony Jones, now the ball goes inside, and then over the top foul on Rojas, who just checked in. And James Rojas probably gets more fouls per minute than any Blue Dragon. On that occasion, reaching over against the postman of the Ravens.
Yeah, he thought he saw an opportunity, really. He could have just waited on the entry pass and played good D and been okay.
For the Ravens, Marvin Johnson takes a shot top of the key. Missed, push off on the rebound. It'll go against the Ravens. I'm glad the officials are watching that because Coffeyville really aggressive in trying to push Dragons out of the way. Keon Queen picks up the foul, his first.
You mentioned the fouls on James Rojas, and you'd be right. That's his 57th team-leading foul of the season.
It is Whitfield at the controls for the Dragons. Now to Rojas on the outside. Drives to the basket, scoops it up. Got fouled on his way to the basket, and James Rojas will shoot a couple of free throws.
Good job by the Blue Dragons here early, establishing that inside game, the drive to the basket in particular, because once that starts to get cut off, it'll be nice pickings for the kick on the 3 look.
A.J. Webster drew the foul, his first. First free throw by Rojas is perfect. 10-4 Hutch. 14 and a half to play first half. Second free throw, identical to the first. So it is an 11-4 contest for the Ravens. Anthony Jones stops top of the key, gets it off to Josh Hill. Big guy playing on the outside. Now it's in the hands of Washington. Tries to dish it inside, loose, retrieved, and dished off in close. The shot doesn't go. Boy, they battle for it inside. A.J. Webster missed one, and now a foul in the backcourt out of frustration on the part of Coffeyville. There were a lot of big bodies banging underneath the glass.
The Red Ravens are getting down into the paint around the restricted line where they want to take those easy baskets, but once they get down there, the defense tightens and they turn it over on most of the occasions here early.
For the Blue Dragons, J.J. Rhymes gives off to Raekwon Taylor, drives inside, missed the shot, and the rebound snatched by Josh Hill. Back the other way we go. Dragons hustle back defensively. There's a drive to the inside, a dish off to Hill. Hill is smacked as he rises up for the shot. And Josh Hill will go to the free throw line to shoot a couple. Hill not a very good free throw shooter at just 58% on the year, but it is already on James Rojas a second foul.
Now that's disappointing for him because he knows coming into this one he was one of the 4 key factors in that first win. Plenty of opportunity for him to shine, and not if he's riding the bench with fouls.
And Hill misses the first of 2. Come back in for the Dragons as the first time. Sitting down, Rojas punches a cushion out of frustration. Rob Whitfield comes out, so does J.J. Rhymes. And another toss at the charity stripe for Josh Hill. Free throw is up, and this one is good. So it is 11-5. Blue Dragons with the lead. Pressure in the backcourt on the part of Coffeyville. Tyler Cotton still not across the timeline. Now he is to a driving Bandu. Cotton gets it back, takes it to the left side of the floor. Coffeyville comes out to put some pressure on. Raquan Taylor. Now Mitchell, now Hollis. Bandu with it. Comes to the free throw line. Off to Hollis. 3 in the air. 3 rattles out. Rebound taken by Anthony Jones for Coffeyville. Dragons doing a nice job of getting back defense. Drives inside, floater doesn't go, tap doesn't go. It is T.J. Washington who unloads a 3. This one's off the front iron. A nice rebound by Raquan Taylor for the Dragons. Sideline to Bandu. Bandu trying to dribble through traffic, takes it to the basket and throws some sort of a prayer toward the left-hand corner. Fortunately for Hutchinson, it's knocked out of bounds by the Ravens.
They tell you not to leave your feet, or if you do, you have to know where you're going. He decided last minute while he was in the air to try and throw it to a place that wasn't.
Dragons inbound, leading 11-5. Rhymes down on the baseline to Taylor, back out front. Hollis, 3 from the wing is missed by J.J. Rhymes, rebounded out by Coffeyville. Marvin Johnson brings it to the offensive end, goes backwards with the pass. Jones takes a 3, doesn't get it. They crash the boards for the Dragons. Raquan Taylor comes up with it. Ahead to Hollis, drives inside and around the equator a couple of times. It goes and drops for a Dragon 2. It is 13-5 as Curtis Hollis gets his first couple of the night.
Those are the plays you want to see from him. He settled for some 3 looks earlier. You want to see him drive.
Hill drives in, muscles it up, doesn't get it, and it'll be a foul on the Dragon defender. Raquan Taylor saying, what can I do? Hill just made up his mind he was going to the basket and hit Raquan a glancing blow. And that's why the foul is on Raquan.
Well, you're not kidding. I mean, to tell you what, Hill got that look in his eye, and when he made that turn, it was a powerful turn. And it may have looked like he initiated the contact, so if you're scared as the defender taking that contact, the foul more often than not, unfortunately, will go against you.
First free throw by Hill is good, so he's 2 of 3 at the line, a 58% free thrower with another coming. 13-6 game at the moment. Hutchinson with the lead. Second shot is also good. Hill is a handful. He is a big, strong kid. For Coffeyville, we'll see Jackson Miller for the first time, 6'6" freshman from Montezuma out in western Kansas. Dragons with the basketball in the hands of Hollis. Now Raquan Taylor, top of the key. Inside, tough shot by J.J. Rhymes. Block, foul on the rebound. It's going against Hutch.
Those are the types of fouls you want to stay away from. If you're Kai Mitchell, you know that Coffeyville has secured the rebound. Just get back on defense. Don't pick up one of those lackadaisical fouls.
And it is the second on Mitchell, so he'll join James Rojas on the bench. Those foul problems. Still almost 12 minutes to play in the first half. And Coffeyville with a chance to cut into what is a 6-point deficit. Casey Benton comes across the top of the key, goes left with it, back to the top of the free throw circle to Webster. Now to Johnson, back on a wing left to Benton, rises up, misses from the free throw line. Dragons try to rebound, come up with it. Nice effort on the baseline by Raquan Taylor. Curtis Hollis controls. Off to Bandu. Coffeyville man to man. Bandu goes behind his back on the dribble to Newhook, where he's no threat. Hollis might be from the left side of the floor. Now to the inside, JJ drives, misses the runner. Rebound by Casey Benton. Benton charges back the other direction. Shot blocked off the glass as it was put up. Dragons come up with a rebound. Nuhu quickly to Raekwon Taylor. Now it's Bandu. Bandu takes a quick three. It is no good. And a rebound grab for Coffeyville. It is Quan Marshall that operates behind a double pick at the top of the key. Marshall bounce inside. Pretty good position. Shot up. It won't go, but it's tapped up and in on the follow by the gentleman that took the shot. That's A.J. Webster. And Coffeyville has come back to within 4. For the Dragons, a floater inside doesn't go. Rebounded out by Coffeyville. Taken away by Jackson Miller. Quan Marshall up the floor. Now they play it back out front. Jumper from the free throw line, misses by Miller. Dragons rebound. Dragons race up the floor. Hollis off to Nuhu. One bounce and a flush. Nuhu with his first points of the game. And thought for a moment there was going to be a timeout. There was not. For Coffeyville, returning will be Keon Queen. He comes in, and sitting down, A.J. Webster.
They had to corral that ball after it was dunked through with authority by Nuhu. It ended up rolling all the way back to half court. So they had to corral that basketball and get it back to make it available for Coffeyville to throw in.
Steve Eck taking a chance with Kai Mitchell, puts him back on the floor with a couple of fouls. And Coffeyville with the basketball. With it between the rings is Benton. Benton off to Jackson Miller. Ball knocked loose. Coffeyville gets it back. A drive to the basket and an and one coming for Casey Benton. Opportunistically picked up the deflected basketball, turned it into a 2-point basket that makes it 15-11. And there will be a free throw accompanying that when we come back after the media timeout, which is upon us. We return to Nellis Gym in 1 minute. It has become a basketball game in which baskets are precious. Neither team has scored a great deal. We played better than 10 minutes, 15-11 Dragons, with Casey Benton on the free throw line, a chance to finish off a 3-point play.
Both teams have played relatively clean. 3 turnovers for Coffeyville, 1 for the Blue Dragons.
Benton, a good free thrower, knocks it down. 15-12. Blue Dragons jumped out 7-0. Hollis in the backcourt gets it ahead to J.J. Rhymes against some pressure. Rhymes takes it wide to the left side. Plays back to the point. Hollis thinking about a three, takes one and doesn't get it. And the rebound is grabbed by Coffeyville. Not a good shot at all. Rob Whitfield will check back into the lineup for the Dragons at his earliest opportunity. It is Casey. Now the lob goes into front of the post. Nuhu with the takeaway. And Dragons bouncing down the other direction, guilty of a travel. Whitfield in, and I would think probably Curtis Hollis coming out.
Well, 0 for 3 from beyond the arc. His first 2 attempts were 3-pointers. We saw the strongest point of his game when he drove in and made a good basket at the bucket, laying it in. If he'd do more of that, he'd score more, play more.
Coffeyville, a chance to tie it with a three. Benton has it, doesn't take the three. The three comes from the wing, and it is good. Knocked down by
Marvin Johnson.
So Coffeyville all the way back from a 7-0 deficit. At the other end, the ball knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with the Blue Dragons.
That's kind of the fun thing you'll get from these teams. You saw Hutchinson start off with a 7-0 run, had another run where they got ahead by 7, but now it's been a run for Coffeyville to kind of tighten this back up.
Whitfield inbounds in the corner. Now JJ has it at the free throw line, tosses it to the side. Whitfield out of the corner for 3. Shots too hard. Scramble for the rebound. Tapped around and wrestled away from Blue Dragon Kai Mitchell. Aggressive rebound for Coffeyville. Coffeyville a chance to take the lead in this basketball game. Benton has it. Benton drives, dishes it off to the side. A little 15-footer is missed by Keon Queen, rebounded by the Dragons, who have a man behind everybody, and scoring on the transition basket is Bandu.
His 100th made field goal of the season.
17-15 Dragons, 8:10 to play first half. Inside, Jackson Miller misses. Tap misses. Nice rebound by Kai Mitchell. Off to Bandu. Bandu wide left. Now crosses over, bounces to the inside, and he gets fouled on the drive to the basket. Cole will go against Quan, but nobody with more than 1.
Yeah, both teams now at 7 fouls, so you get into bonus territory with the 1-and-1 for Bandu.
Raekwon Taylor returns to the Hutchinson lineup, and Kai Mitchell, who played well when he was in there playing for a couple of minutes with 2 fouls, will come back out.
Well, I think we've seen the emergence again of Kai Mitchell and his 15-foot jumper. We saw him take a rare 3 earlier in this one, but you have to be encouraged over his last few games of his higher field goal percentage shooting from 15 feet.
1-and-1 for Bandu. The first is, so there will be a second. Devontae with 3 in the game, and the Dragons back on top by that margin, 18-15. University of Kansas, University of Kansas State, or Kansas State University as they prefer to be called. Both got wins this afternoon. Bandu's 2 of 2 on that trip to the charity stripe, and the Dragons lead at 19-15. TJ Washington for Coffeyville goes behind a pick, dishes it off. Jones drives inside, puts up a tough shot, doesn't get it. Nuhu rebounds, leaves it for Bandu. Bandu, the last player up the floor. Picks up his dribble, bounces to the side to Rhymes. Rhymes back topside. Nuhu fumbles, gets it back, takes a jumper from the free throw line and banks it in. Oh my goodness, you talk about a play that was anything but designed. That would be it.
Well, that's like they say, if the bank is open, you got to cash in those checks. He did just that.
Drive inside, and Nuhu swats it up in the bleachers. It'll stay with Coffeyville. Sal Nuhu, who has not played as many minutes as he would like, has been effective so far in this basketball game.
Blue Dragons #2 team in the conference when it comes to blocking shots.
TJ Washington, left side of the floor to Johnson. Now back to the side, and Washington puts up a shot. Foul called on Whitfield. I think it preceded the shot. Bill Leonard on the call, and Rob Whitfield has a foul.
That shows you, though, how smart Washington is. He knew the bump was coming, and he did what you see a lot of NBA players do, try to force up the shot after that. It looked really close, but the fact that that bump came and he knew immediately what he wanted to do with it for a chance to shoot, it was a good job by Washington. Heads up play. We'll still get the 1-and-1 out of it instead of the chance at 3.
TJ Washington with a couple of points to his credit. Good free throw shooter, shoots a lot of them. You talked about how smart he is. He shot more free throws than anybody else on the Coffeyville team. This will be number 126, and it's short, so there won't be a second. And the Blue Dragons have the rebound and the lead now at 6, 21-15. Bandu to Nuhu, who operates outside. Bounce on the high post to Rhymes. Now off to Bandu, who quickly loads up a 3, doesn't get it. Rebound, Tyler Cotton inside. Back out front, Raekwon Taylor charges inside. Lost the handle on it. Coffeyville with numbers on the run out to the other end. Gliding in and scoring and making it look mighty easy. Anthony Jones tightens it to 21-17. Bandu for the Dragons. Tosses back the other direction. And Nuhu drives inside, and Sal has another basket. 7 for Nuhu in the half. And the Dragon lead again is 6 at 23-17. As perhaps you hear Coach Eck in front of us hollering, get a stop. Coffeyville with other ideas, but cupping the basketball called on TJ Washington on a drive to the basket will postpone those thoughts for a moment at least.
If it's more than a handshake, it's not a deal. 5 turnovers for Coffeyville.
And Tyler Cotton will inbound to Bandu. Bandu up the floor to Rhymes. Back out front, Cotton. Nuhu operating on the outside to Raekwon Taylor. Tyler Cotton down to J.J. Rhymes. Ball gets away. Retrieved by the Dragons. Touch pass back inside. Loose on the floor. Picked up by Coffeyville. Stolen away by Marvin Johnson. Johnson drives down, lays it up, doesn't get it. And a foul called. This one will go on the Blue Dragons. It'll be on Tyler Cotton.
Cotton got himself into position.
But the wrong spot on the floor.
That, and also add in the fact, and Bill just motioned when he made the call, he purposely started falling backwards before the contact was made. Had he allowed the contact to happen above the waist, that would have been a charge all the way.
Marvin Johnson, first one rattles away, no good. One more coming. 5:47 left in a so far low-scoring first half. 23-17 Dragons. And Johnson could take one off the 6-point Coffeyville deficit and does. 23-18. Tyler Cotton operates out front to Bandu. Now Nuhu. Nuhu puts it on the floor. Tosses it up high to Raekwon Taylor. Top of the key shot, not his shot. Missed, retrieved by Bandu on a nice hustling effort. Cotton winds up with it. Now Bandu on the side. Bandu puts up a three and got it. 37% shooter from three, just knocked down his 29th of the season. And Hutchinson back to an 8-point lead. For Coffeyville, Marvin Johnson gets rid of it, gets it back. A little jumper, got it. Marvin Johnson. Coffeyville's taken off the backcourt. J.J. Rhymes. Unbelievably wild shot. It comes off to Coffeyville. Coffeyville throws long. They don't take the three from the corner. They work it to the side, get a good look at three, but it is missed by Anthony Jones, rebounded out by the Dragons. And I'd like to see the Dragons get some semblance of a good-looking shot. Comes out front. Quick three is up by Cotton, missed. Rebounded out by Coffeyville. Racing down the floor, Anthony Jones takes it all the way. They didn't stop him, and he puts it up and in, and that's going to bring a timeout by the Dragons. 4 minutes in the first half, 26-20 to Coffeyville in half a minute. Well, Darren, after we watched the Blue Dragons on Wednesday in the arena, be very patient moving the ball around. I can't think of very many poor shots. It has been disappointing to watch the Blue Dragons, some of the shot selection in this one.
Well, it didn't start out that way. Started out with a 7-0 run, had another lead at another point by 7, and they were getting easy baskets via the pass down on that right side. Lately, though, it's been, if I'm open, I'm firing away.
And if I haven't scored for a while, I'm going to take a shot. Let's see if they settle down coming out of the timeout. Moving the ball around the perimeter. Bandu has it in the corner. Tosses it down on the baseline. Now working inside and being fouled is Raekwon. And that call will go against Anthony Jones of Coffeyville. Still no Raven with more than one foul, which is kind of amazing because they've committed 8 of them. Raekwon Taylor to the free throw line. It'll still be 1-1. Taylor's free throw is up short. There won't be a second. Coffeyville the rebound. It has been a game of runs. The Dragons were on one, now trying to answer. Drive to the inside and contact and a foul on Hutchinson as Anthony to the lane.
Rojas just got back in there and picked up his third foul.
James Rojas is going to have to learn how to play without fouling. And so far, that is a lesson he has not yet digested. Anthony Jones shoots free throws. The first one is good. One more for Jones. Curtis Hollis returns. Rojas will set. Jones' second free throw, good. So once again, after the Dragon lead had grown to 8, it is cut back to 2. It is 26-24. Tyler Cotton to Hollis in the corner. J.J. Rhymes out front. Now Raekwon Taylor. Back to Hollis. Hollis bounces to the free throw line, fires from there. It is perfect. Pretty jumper by Curtis Hollis for his 4th point. 28-24 Hutch. There's a drive. Only problem was Hill left it behind. Lead pass ahead. Stolen out of the hands of Hollis. Taken away by Marvin Johnson. Charges back the other way. Misses in close. Dragons' Raekwon Taylor comes up with a rebound. Sideline to Cotton, in the corner to Bandu. Coffeyville back defensively. 3 minutes to play. Bandu at the free throw line. To Hollis. To Cotton. Cotton drive in traffic. Gets it off to Bandu. There's a pretty pass, but J.J. Rhymes tried to dunk it and missed the dunk. Now Coffeyville at the other end with numbers, and the Dragons commit a foul. Getting smacked on the drive to the basket was by Marvin Johnson. Curtis Hollis helped him up. He knew he was guilty of the foul. Good sportsmanship on the part of Curtis Hollis.
For JJ, you don't normally see him dunk even sometimes on breakaways, and that time it was almost a standstill, maybe 1 or 2 steps into it. Just not enough momentum to flush it down like he wanted to. Like you mentioned, would have been better off just laying it in for 2.
Johnson hits the free throw and collects by so doing his 7th point, and there's point number 8 of the first half. And the Dragon advantage is but 2, 28-26. 2:40 to go, first half. Tyler Cotton handles on the side to J.J. Rhymes out near half court. J.J. has really been held down, just 4 points in the first half. Raekwon Taylor to Bandu now. Bandu dribbles into traffic, tosses it back in the corner to Taylor. Taylor rifles it out front to Cotton. Cotton with 4 to shoot, going to have to put up a long 3, does not get it. Nice rebound inside Bandu. He goes up, got tied up, I think, and that is the call, and the arrow will give it to Coffeyville. Nice smother as Bandu got a rebound down where you expect him to score, can't get the job done.
Well, with his leaping ability and being the second leading rebounder on this team, as we mentioned, you don't expect that to happen a lot. And the Coffeyville player able to get up, as you say, and smothered him. That's exactly what happened. That ball, that hand right on top of the ball to keep Bandu from continuing to rise.
T.J. Washington to Anthony Jones. Jones wants to drive. Could have been called perhaps for a travel, was not. There's an underhand scoop that goes up and in by Marvin Johnson. And this game is tied at 28. Coffeyville coming from 8 down. Now J.J. Rhymes has it for the Dragons. Important possession, need a good shot. Bandu tosses it to Hollis. Hollis all the way to the basket. Underhand scoop, good. Curtis Hollis putting on a nice show here off the last few trips down the floor. He has 6. Dragons lead 30-28. On the side, Johnson. Johnson drives inside, got a good look, scores it in the paint. Johnson with a nice first half of 12. 30-30, a minute 17 to go in the first half. Hollis holds out front to Rhymes, to Whitfield. Whitfield tosses it to the inside, nice cover up in traffic. A wonderful pass from Hollis to J.J. Rhymes for the basket. Great interior pass by Curtis Hollis, by Raekwon Taylor. There's a drive at the other end. Ball knocked out of bounds by the Dragons. It'll stay with Coffeyville. 50 seconds to play first half. 22 shot clock as the Ravens inbound, baseline left. Out front it comes to Benton. Benton out in three-point country. Off to Washington. Tries to penetrate. Dribble. Scoops it underneath. Hill with position. Doesn't score. Fights for the rebound. It's tapped out front. Saved by Coffeyville. And the Ravens step through a double team and a foul called on Hutchinson. It'll be on J.J. Rhymes, his first. But it will occasion free throws for the Ravens. To the line will go T.J. Washington. Coffeyville has been the team that is driven to the inside the most often in this game so far.
And unfortunately for them, especially in the early going, some trouble finishing on the inside. But lately, because of Johnson, the way he's able to contort his body midair, he's been finishing some hard buckets on the inside.
Washington hit the first free throw and the second, and we are again tied at 32. Half a minute to play. No shot clock. Blue Dragons should take the last shot of the first half. We'll see. Whitfield has it out front. Whitfield to J.J. Rhymes. Rhymes back to Whitfield. That's Hollis with it. Now it's Whitfield on the right side of the floor. 10. They bring it out with 9, 8. Whitfield to Hollis. Hollis to Bandu. Bandu drives inside. Doesn't get a shot off. Coffeyville comes up with a rebound. Half court heave. And we haven't proved a thing yet. 2:32. Hutchinson and Coffeyville in a dead heat. We'll take a 2-minute break and be back with halftime. We are at halftime in Coffeyville, and the Blue Dragons and the Coffeyville Reds are tied at 32. It was a half in which Hutchinson probably had the lead at least 90% of the time. Dragons led late in the first half, 26-18, but Coffeyville has come back to square accounts at the halftime break. It is time for the Medicine Shop first half game capsule. And the Medicine Shop wonders how many of you out there are a Medicare Part D, have as your Medicare Part D provider WellCare. Well, WellCare has dropped most of the major chains in Hutchinson from their preferred list. But the Medicine Shop is proud to say that it is still preferred with WellCare. What does that mean for you? Well, if you're a member of WellCare, your drugs will probably cost you less at the medicine shop compared to the other stores. It's simple. If you are a WellCare Medicare Part D member, and many of you are, you can save money by transferring to the medicine shop. Make one call to the shop and they'll take care of the rest. That number to call, 620-663-7681. 620-663-7681. The medicine shop, conveniently located in Midtown Hutchinson, serving Hutchinson since 1975. Darren, what do the numbers look like?
Well, you're good. You said 90% of the time. Blue Dragons led for 17 and a half minutes, 87.5% of that time. You truly are a statistician. And no leads for Coffeyville, but the game was tied at 4 times in that first half of action. For the Blue Dragons, finishing up with 32 points in this deadlock, 6 points from Curtis Hollis. He really got things going when he drove to the basket and showed his skills, finishing on the inside, 0 for 2 from beyond the arc. So anytime he goes inside, his game gets infinitely stronger. Devontae Bandu finished with 7, but just on 2 of 8 shooting. 6 points for J.J. Rhymes. He could have had a few more, shot 3 for 10. Sal Nuhu, how about quality minutes for him? 13 minutes in the first half, 7 points. 5 rebounds to go with it. The Blue Dragons had 5 extra opportunities off of offensive rebounds and got 6 points, second chance off the glass. 6 offensive rebounds for Coffeyville. 4 points followed that, led by Marvin Johnson, a guy who was not seen in the first game of action at the sports arena. Him, along with Keon Queen, a couple of big factors for this team, not there or suited, at least for that first game. And the 6'6" freshman out of Edmond, Oklahoma, Marvin Johnson, had a big first half with those 12 points, most of them coming late when he was going off balance into the lane and twisting and turning midair to finish some tough baskets. TJ Washington had the big game for Coffeyville in that blowout earlier in Hutchinson this year. Only Red Raven to score in double digits that game. He struggled the first half, finished with just 4 points. 2 of those 4 points came from the free throw line. 6 turnovers for both teams, so overall, pretty quality basketball. The Blue Dragons left some paint, notably that J.J. Rhymes missed dunk. There were a couple of other things that would come to mind down there, but still outscoring Coffeyville in the paint 20-14. Coffeyville, heavens knows, had a few times inside where they had that 3-second lane violation early. They had another opportunity a little bit later with the same player, Josh Hill, getting on the inside and walking with it. Since those first few minute misses, Blue Dragons leading that category. Only 1 3-pointer made for each team. Interestingly enough, the Blue Dragons shot more 3-pointers in that first half than did the Red Ravens, and you know that the Blue Dragons don't shoot many 3-pointers. In fact, they shoot the 12th most in the conference, and yet they have the number one, they have a higher percentage. It is the number 1 percentage in the conference at 37.4%. That's 2% ahead of Barton, and Barton jacks up more threes than almost anybody. Only Pratt shoots more from beyond the arc at 415 on the year. 228 attempts for the Blue Dragons. They don't take them off them. They make the most of them. Not the case in this first half of action. Blue Dragons 1 for 10. Coffeyville Red Ravens 1 for 8 from beyond the arc. That's how you find yourself deadlocked here at halftime at 32s. We'll take a 2-minute timeout and continue halftime after this on Country 102.9 and KWBW Radio.
We are at halftime in Coffeyville, a 32-32 basketball game, Hutchinson and Coffeyville. Many of you know that there is a big challenge going on today between the Big 12 and many folks have been arguing that the Big 12 is the best basketball conference in the country, top to bottom. Well, the matchup with the SEC is mighty entertaining. We're going to go through those scores of games played today. Florida won over Baylor, 81-60, advantage SEC. Texas Tech beat South Carolina, 70-63. That's a win for the Big 12. Kansas State beat Georgia, 56-51, another win for the Big 12. Texas won over Ole Miss, 85-72. That's 3 wins to 1. Oklahoma lost to Alabama, 80-73, so make it 3-2. Still the edge to the Big 12. Tennessee pounded Iowa State 68-40, notched things up. Vanderbilt got one for the SEC over TCU 81-78. Advantage SEC. Kansas came back, got a win over Texas A&M. Net wasn't a comeback. Jayhawks led all the way, won at 79-68. Oklahoma State dropped a 1-point decision to Arkansas. So if you've done the numbers, that puts the SEC up 1. There's 1 game left. That's Kentucky playing West Virginia. That game taking place at number 7 West Virginia. Kentucky leads with 2:29 to go, 72-70. Were West Virginia to come back in that basketball game, it would mean the two conferences split 6-6. We've talked forever, and it is really there in spades this year.
Yeah, and you're seeing a lot more, especially in that Big 12, a lot of those teams clumping up, tied for that second position. And I think that's what the fans love to see. They see it every year in the NFL, and the more you can see it at other levels of play, no matter the sport, more passion is there, and the more each and every game of the season means to your team's final outcome.
Well, it is no question that a conference as tough as those two conferences are, the teams beat up on each other to a certain extent. You don't wind up with a lot of teams ranked highly in the rankings because of the fact that there's so many games that are lost in the conference. I think, for example, you might be able to lose 5 games and maybe still win the Big 12 this year. Well, 5 games coupled with a loss or 2 and the would give you 7 losses, probably not those top 1 or 2 seeds.
For fans of the University of Kansas is the fact that you start seeing losses in Allen Fieldhouse. You're like, wait a minute, that doesn't happen here. What's going on? And that goes back to what you're saying. All these teams are so good, and I think it goes back to a comment that Coach Eck made earlier this year on some of their losses that, you know, it's being called an upset, but wait a minute, it's not an upset. These teams are really good. You think about Kansas losing to Oklahoma earlier this week. Oklahoma's a good team that's beaten 4 top 25 teams. So while one team holds a higher ranking that week for the voting, doesn't necessarily mean the best team overall or on any given night. You just have to be the best team that night to come away victorious.
Well, Hutchinson high school football fans were spoiled mightily during the years of Randy Dreiling. But Coach Dreiling had one of the best comments I've ever heard when he said to me one night in the postgame show, you know, Rusty, both teams get to practice. We're not the only team that practices. And I think fans need to keep that in mind when a game that they think they should win goes the other direction. Both teams practice, both teams have talent. And on any given night, anything can happen, particularly true in the Jayhawk Conference. All you can do is prepare and try to close to your potential as you possibly can. If you win, you win. If you don't, you say, well, we'll tee it up and get after it next Wednesday.
Yeah, and a lot of it comes down to that you practice how you play, right? So you have to be able to get it done in practice and then execute that game plan when it comes time. And when both teams practice and both teams watch film, they're ready for the things that you're going to throw at them. So then at that point, when you're deadlocked here like we are now, 32s, you go into halftime and you figure out what do we have to do to adapt and overcome, not only to the defense that Coffeyville has thrown at you this first half, but how do we adapt and overcome to the way the game is being called? Slight differences, you pick up on what officials are calling and not calling. Most important right now for James Rojas, who has 3 fouls. He has to change the way he's playing if he wants to play and finish this game and not foul out.
The Blue Dragons, I am sure, are talking at halftime about shot selection. And I'm not certainly suggesting that anywhere near all the shots that the Dragons took in the first half were ill-advised, but there were 3 or 4 that come to mind that were absolute total prayers thrown up by a player who made up his mind he was going to take the shot regardless, and the regardless is what occurred.
Well, this team is not quite as good as the women's team at assisting on a per field goal made basis, but still pretty good when compared to other teams in the league, and even when compared to Coffeyville. Coffeyville will assist 46% of made baskets. The Blue Dragons will on 56% of their made baskets. And in that first half, you may be surprised to know that they had 8 assists on 13 field goals. But what you just mentioned, some of those made field goals that weren't the assists were those ones where somebody was dribbling in a spot and decided, I'm open from 15, I might as well shoot this up. So you're right, you can work always to find that better pass, that better option. The question is, will you, or will you be content with, when in doubt, shoot?
Well, that's why they play the game, as the old saying goes. We're going to take another 2-minute break. We'll be back. The second half awaits in a couple of minutes.
Welcome back into Coffeyville, Nellis Hall, where the Blue Dragons are deadlocked at 32 with the Coffeyville Red Ravens. Hello, everyone. I'm Darren Dunn. Alongside me, Rusty Hilst on Hutchinson's Country Station, Country 102.9, it's KHUT, and KWBW, where Hutchinson comes to talk, 1450 AM and 98.5 FM. A look across the league, some games already done, only one more at this point. Earlier today, Cloud to 83. Garden City gets the win at Allen, 80-68. Dodge went in and beat Neosho, 85-80. Independence won at Colby, 61-57. Barton and Seward just underway. The opening minutes, that was an 8 p.m. tip-off, and Seward is ahead 8-5 after jumping out to an 8-0 lead. And now Barton trying to pour it on and make that run. It's all about the runs. A lot of times we saw that in this one. Blue Dragons jumped out by 7. and then had another 7-point lead a little bit later. But then when Coffeyville turned it on, a little more deadlocked, even though Coffeyville has never
done with you on this Saturday night in Southeast Kansas with the story of Blue Dragon basketball. Blue Dragon women won the night's first game. They're 18-3. One game in arrears in the race in the Jayhawk. 62-43 was the final. They swept the season series with Coffeyville. I believe that if the Blue Dragons improve their shot selection in the second half, this is a game that they will ultimately prevail in. If we see continued wild shots, it's a game that could easily slip away.
Well, I think when you are constantly striving for perfection, you're always thinking about, what about that one extra pass? What if we would have had that on a couple more possessions? And then those points start to add up a little bit. What if we would have gone for the easy lay-in instead of trying to go showtime and slam it down? So once you think about those things and you learn from those mistakes, or you learn from the things that didn't produce points, you find those things that will help you pull away and be victorious.
Pretty nice crowd on hand, enjoying at halftime the introduction of the class going into the Coffeyville Hall of Fame. A batch of gentlemen here, a lot of them back from the 2002 a team that went to the championship game in the National Junior College Basketball Tournament. Several track people, and all of them got a nice round of applause from the appreciative folks in Coffeyville.
I have to imagine all those players watching this game tonight are thinking, as they're looking at these teams, you know what, I could probably still ball out with these guys.
All right, we are ready to start the second half. Hutchinson with possession of the basketball. And the ball inbounded to Rob Whitfield. Whitfield plays to Nuhu on the left side of the floor. Now Bandu out front. Now down to the inside, back to the wing. There's a drive inside, and a short-range shot by JJ doesn't go. And I think it was JJ. I am continually blocked out. Maybe it was Nuhu, and Nuhu picking up a foul.
Nuhu just couldn't quite get that first shot to go through the contact, and as he was going for that offensive rebound, just went through the Coffeyville player in front of him.
Coffeyville looks for its initial lead of the game. TJ Washington, now Corey Benton. Benton at the free throw line doesn't take the shot. Anthony Jones has it. Now down on the baseline, Hill works his way inside, tries to get a man in the air, doesn't. Plays out to Benton, who fires up a three. Rebounded by Hill. Coffeyville with an offensive board and a reset. Just underway in the second half, 32-32. Coffeyville and Hutchinson. For the Red Ravens, a drive by Hill, got his man in the air, draws a foul. You know, Hill is just 6'5", young man from Theodore, Alabama. He is strong, he is smart, and he'll be rewarded with free throws on the third foul on Sal Nuhu.
The smartest part of his game is the arm bar. As long as you're not extending your arm when you're protecting your body and the basketball as the first free throw goes down, then you're not going to get called for a lot of those fouls. But if you watch him closely, he gains a little bit of that space on the inside by just producing that little arm bar and keeping the other player away from him.
First free throw good, second one is not. Dragons rebound the miss, but Coffeyville with its first lead of the game. Charging inside for the Blue Dragons is J.J. Rhymes, and he is tied up. And the ball goes back to Coffeyville. J.J. made up his mind he was going to the basket regardless, and Coffeyville made a nice defensive play. Coffeyville, Corey Benton. Bounce goes to the inside, dancing in, turnaround shot, does not drop for Keon Queen, and then it's put back up and in. So Coffeyville with a three-point lead, now 35-32. For the Blue Dragons, Whitfield tries to answer, a three doesn't go, rebounded by Raekwon Taylor. Bandu out of the corner for three, all the way around the ring a couple of times and out, and Coffeyville rebounds the miss. For the Red Ravens, handling out front is Hill. Now it's in the hands of Anthony Jones, gets a defender in the air, doesn't take the shot to TJ Washington. Now Hill muscling his way in, might have done too much, or drew a foul. They're going to call it on Raekwon.
Now, I mentioned how subtle he was for the most part with that arm ball. You could really see him create for the Blue Dragons to hold ground in there and try to force an offensive foul next time.
There is a timeout. It'll be a short one. We're back in half a minute. Well, Coffeyville with the lead and the basketball. Dragons need a defensive stop. Coffeyville plays it into the hands of Benton. Benton drives, gets by, drives underneath the basket, lost it to Raekwon Taylor, starts a break to Whitfield. Coffeyville races back defensively. Ball goes in the corner. Bandu thought about the three, thinks better of it. Brings it back out front. Let's see if the Dragons can get a really good look here. They need one. Ball goes down to the inside, now back out front. Bandu drives, bounces between a couple of defenders and draws a foul.
It all started because of what you mentioned. Bandu thought better of the quick three. And then he's able now, later in the possession, to drive in, draw contact.
No free throws. Dragons inbound. JJ with a catch in close, turns, puts the shot up, and gets called for an offensive foul.
They're going to send
they're going to call it on Hill. Other 11. So JJ will go to the free throw line, and the foul is the second on Josh Hill of Coffeyville. Rhymes hits the free throw. 7th point of the game for JJ. Another one coming. This to get Hutchinson back to within one. And it is up and good. Crowd hollering overrated. I would not overly motivate JJ were I Coffeyville.
We've seen him get that look in his eyes and go off.
How about 41 against Butler? There's a drive to the basket, though. Nobody stopped Anthony Jones, and he scores for Coffeyville. Down the left side of the lane. Again, the lead is 3 for the Ravens. Hutchinson led most of the first half. Coffeyville played catch-up early second. It is the Dragons playing catch-up. Raekwon Taylor has it, tries to work his way in, lost a handle on it. Stolen away by T.J. Washington. Washington on the run out. Misses. Rebound tapped around. Picked up by Coffeyville by Andrew Jones, and a foul on the Dragons. Raekwon Taylor picks up the foul.
Now you have 3 guys with 3 for the Blue Dragons. Nuhu, Rojas, and Taylor.
And Anthony Jones could grow a 3-point lead with free throws here. The first one is good. And now he looks for his 10th point and the biggest lead of the game for Coffeyville. Dragons led in the first half on a couple of occasions by at least 8. Crowd quiet. Second free throw up. Good. Anthony Jones in the midst of a big game, and Coffeyville starts the second half. First 3 minutes, they've outscored the Dragons by 5 to lead 39-34. J.J. Rhymes drives baseline, offensive foul.
So that was the one you were alluding to earlier.
J.J. trying to do too much right now.
And the thing is, he's not on the other end, other than the way in which he throws that shoulder. If you throw it with more emphasis, you're likely to get it called on you.
Rhymes comes out of the game for the Dragons. Coffeyville plays with a 5-point lead, and a deep 3 does not go. Rebound tracked down by Bandu, splits a couple of defenders, got his pocket picked, he's hurt. And then they call over and back. And we'll let the officials sort it out. Bill Lenhard making the call of over and back. I'm not sure what he saw. I saw a takeaway that I thought a foul could have been called on. That didn't occur. And now they correct it. It'll be Coffeyville's basketball, but Coffeyville, meanwhile, loses the break advantage. They had a numbers advantage because Bandu was on his face in the backcourt.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest thing, too, because you give him an opportunity to get up, get back on defense, and maybe walk off whatever initially it looked like he had.
Coffeyville has taken a 32-32 game and made it a 5-point lead as they have outscored the Dragons 7-2. Still a long, long ways to go. Benton has it out front. Benton tosses it inside to Keon Queen. Shot missed. Rebound Tyler Cotton for the Dragons. Cotton pushes it up the floor. Off to Bandu, wing left. Drops it down on the baseline. And now it's thrown over to us. Steve Eck fields it. It's a Dragon turnover.
Well, in his defense, all three of us were open. It's turnover number 8 for the Blue Dragons.
Nice line. I like that. But there was no Dragon in the vicinity. Coffeyville basketball. Licky on Queen. Queen backing in. And a foul called. Rojas, number 4.
And that's the same type of play. It's a different player in Keon Queen, but Coffeyville is being allowed an opportunity to clear space with what is either the hook with the forearm or the arm bar in most cases. JJ got called for it down on this end. Now it needs to be called on the other end. So look to see if that gets tightened up. If not, the Blue Dragons are in severe trouble because they are taking a beating right to the chest on the defensive end.
And the official indicating he didn't see the hook. Rojas really frustrated as he comes to the bench. Coffeyville works inside, out, and a 3 is up, off, missing, scramble for the rebound, tapped around, still they fight for it, and a tie-up. And this time the arrow will stay with, it should be Dragon basketball this time, and it is. Boy, every rebound hotly contested.
Especially when you let players battle down in the post like that, plus you throw in the way the crowd reacted to that near over and back call. The tension is building.
Jumper Whitfield at the free throw line is short. Rebound wrapped around. Still up in the air. It comes off to Coffeyville. Anthony Jones quickly ahead to TJ Washington. Washington takes it wide to the left side. Now accelerates into the paint. Puts it up. Got it off the window. TJ Washington extends the Coffeyville lead to 7. The crowd is in it. The Blue Dragons are struggling to score with 15:21 to go. This will be a full 1-minute timeout. Well, Darren, if ever you saw a team in need of a basket right here, something good to happen, it's Hutchinson.
Yeah, you really got to stop this momentum as it's already gotten started. But remember, the Blue Dragons had momentum like this with 7-point leads, and as you mentioned, even up to 8 a couple times in that first half, and Coffeyville battle back. So in a game, you have to have those answers. It's time.
40, the Blue Dragons for the 3rd time in the last 2 years. Dragons lost only 2 games last year, both to Coffeyville. Dragons on offense. Cotton fires it to the inside. A lot of contact, no whistle. Comes back out to Bandu. Cotton fires from the side and hits a badly needed baseline jump. Tyler Cotton's first points of the game make it 41-36. Now the Dragons need some defensive stops. Going for the steal is Kai Mitchell. Jumper in the paint, up and good. Casey Benton. 43-36, Coffeyville. Bandu for three, got it. Devontae Bandu shot it in rhythm and pulls Hutchinson to within 4, 43-39.
And Kai Mitchell, it won't go in the stat sheet, but he cleared the space for the screen for Bandu to get that look.
Again, Dragons need stops. Anthony Jones from line doesn't get it. Long rebound, tracked down by the Dragons. A try for the dunk doesn't go for J.J. Rhymes. Ball comes off to Coffeyville. They play it out to the side. An open look at three doesn't go. Rebound J.J. Rhymes. He got bumped, and finally a foul will go. Or are they going to? How are they going to call it?
J.J. lost it out of bounds. He wanted the bump, but the official said he was out of bounds before any of that contact. J.J. is going to argue the contact happened before. I would have a tendency to agree a little with that, but we're much farther away from the action than Bill Lindhard.
Ball inbounded, and Coffeyville has it. Casey Benton now right side of the floor. It is Washington, and a foul called. It'll go against Hutchinson.
And already in the bonus now for Coffeyville. So for 13 minutes and 50 seconds, every foul will lead to Red Raven free throws if it's on the Blue Dragons.
TJ Washington at the free throw line. He shoots 80%. Missed the free throw, however, and the Dragons have the rebound. Curtis Hollis, who just came in, tracks it down. Dragons trail by 4. Whitfield has it on the side, gives it to Mitchell, splits a couple of defenders, tosses it underneath the basket. Good look, shot up, good. And J.J. got one to drop, and he'll get an and one. And now there's a little bit of an altercation. These teams are not very happy at each other. There's been a whistle, and we'll let the officials sort it out. The basket by J.J. Rhymes is good to pull Hutch within 2.
There was some hand-holding going on between Queen and Rhymes. And one basket, and Rhymes took it upon himself to, I thought for the moment, we're double technical. For the moment they've held off, and now they've discussed it and are making a decision on that. They are. They're going to give a technical foul, it looks like, to both Queen and also J.J. Rhymes. Just the warning. They'll warn both players. They need to nip it now.
That's really fortunate for Hutchinson because the foul would have been the 3rd on Rhymes. Now J.J. will get a chance for the and one to pull Hutch back to within 1. Rusty Hills, Darren Dunn with you from Coffeyville. Glenn Grunwald covering Salt Hawk girls basketball today. He'll be back with the Dragons on Wednesday in the sports arena against Neosho. Rhymes free throw up and good. Dragons with a nice run of their own, moments within 1. 4 foul problems, however. Joshua Hill bangs inside, banks it up, doesn't get it. Mitchell tries to one-hand the rebound, and it's out of bounds. Should be to Coffeyville, I would think.
Well, and Coffeyville thinks that too. It looked from here like Kai just couldn't handle it with one hand pulling it down, but Blue Dragons will maintain possession.
Bandu has it top of the key, shovels it right. Hollis in the corner, back to the free throw line to Mitchell, fakes a jumper, backhand pass to the inside, shot up by J.J. doesn't go, gets his own rebound, rises up again, and scores it, and he's fouled. J.J. Rhymes really battling inside, puts Hutchinson back on top, and the foul is second on A.J. Webster.
You remember when you predicted this, when the baseball fans, the baseball players were chanting overrated, and you said you do not want to upset J.J. Rhymes. You would not like him when he's angry. Back-to-back and ones.
And the Dragons back on top, 44-43, a free throw coming for Rhymes. J.J. 6 at halftime, but now 13. Free throw is good. 45-43, Dragons back on top.
11-2 run in the last couple of minutes.
T.J. Washington drives behind a pick, takes a shot blocked off the window, taken away by the drive back by Coffeyville, and then a reach-in foul. The Dragons 40. It will go against Kai Mitchell, and that on Kai is 3. And worse than that, it's 1-1.
That's the thing that's really going to kill you, is the fact that you're giving Coffeyville opportunities at the free throw line with the clock stopped.
Casey Benton shoots the 1-1. The first one is no good. There won't be a second. And the Dragons rebound to miss. Bandu, guarded by Benton. Bandu charges, jumps from 15. Pretty shot, it's good. Devontae Bandu gives Hutchinson a 4-point lead, 47-43. And Coffeyville, they want to take a timeout to talk about it. Here are the numbers, 12:28 to play. Hutchinson 47, Coffeyville 43. This is a short one. We're back in half a minute. Well, nice run by the Dragons as they replace a 7-point deficit with a 4-point lead.
And getting the ball on the inside. You know, we talked about the 4 guys who had such big games for the Blue Dragons in that first contest. 2 of them, Bandu and Rhymes, now back on track for that type of performance.
Successive 3-point plays by Bandu for Coffeyville. He doesn't get it. Rebound Bandu. Bandu brings it down, races up the floor, comes top of the key, drives into the paint, and what do they call?
They call an offensive foul on Bandu, or excuse me, Kai Mitchell, and that's that off-the-ball screen when you're moving to set that pick.
All right, here are the problems. Mitchell has 4 fouls. Rojas has 4 fouls. Nuhu has 3. Taylor has 3. You get the picture. Hutchinson still a 4-point lead, 47-43. Washington drives, tosses it to the wing, and another foul called on the drive to the basket. Dragons may have to go play zone. TJ Washington is creating problems. That foul is on.
I thought he said Rob Whitfield, which would be his 3rd. But there's some confusion at the table as to if they called it on him or Sal. It looked like to me he called it on Rob, but they did not put it up on the board.
TJ Washington hits the free throw in the meanwhile.
So if they haven't put it up on the board, that tells me they're confused. They should at least
must have been on Nuhu because he's coming out.
Well, I'm saying that the Blue Dragon bench thinks it's on him. It's on Rob Whitfield. They do put it up.
Okay.
And it's his 3rd.
Both free throws good. Now Hutchinson coaches are trying to get things clarified. Hutchinson with the basketball at the offensive end, driving inside. JJ misses, gets it back, goes up, got fouled. That's Hollis battling along with JJ. And let's see on whom the foul is called. On Josh Hill, I think. And is on Whitfield. The Dragons have that straight, and it'll be Curtis Hollis to the free throw line. Free throw doesn't go. He has another. Curtis, just an ordinary free thrower, a little over 60%. Extremely athletic youngster. I don't think he has shown Blue Dragon fans yet what he is totally capable of. Second free throw also missed by Anthony Jones. He'll have a game here before long. Coffeyville battling to tie or take the lead. Knocked loose. Dragons come up with the steal, but running out of space is Curtis Hollis on the sideline. Ran out of geography. I know they're going to say he was pushed out, so they call a foul on Coffeyville's Marvin Johnson.
I think when you talk about at halftime teams trying to peak at the right time and get into those win streaks to go into tournament time, a lot of that has to do with players. Players, if they peak at the right time and are consistent game by game after that breakout game, you see players start to peak as well.
Hollis holds, lobs it down to Raekwon Taylor, and he is fouled. On his back is Jackson Miller. First foul on Miller.
And now both teams will be in the bonus the rest of the way.
And shooting the free throws for the Blue Dragons, Raekwon Taylor. Free throw up and not good. And a whistle. We got a lane violation, so it'll be 1-and-1 all over again. So Raekwon given a second chance. Let's see if he can take advantage of it. 47-45 Hutch, 11:22 to go. Youngster from Jamaica, New York. Raekwon settles in. Left-handed shooter. Doesn't get the second one either. Both of them come off, and Coffeyville comes away with the rebound. Ravens could regain the lead with a three. Instead, a drive to the inside, a kick to the corner, and there's a three that doesn't go. Scramble for the rebound, and it is lost out of bounds to Hutchinson.
Jefferson had position. That's one of those opportunities he's going to be kicking himself for that he missed.
Curtis Hollis, left side of the floor, puts up a three, doesn't get it. The rebound grabbed by Coffeyville. TJ Washington races up the floor, races down the lane, swings it to the corner. There's a drive baseline, a little short-range bank shot by Marvin Johnson, ties the game. Johnson with his 14th point.
And only his first basket of the second half.
Blue Dragons have it on the perimeter. Whitfield puts up the shot, doesn't get it. Left it short. Scramble for the rebound, and it is knocked out of bounds. Touch last by the Blue Dragons. For Coffeyville, inbounding will be William Jefferson, young man from Kansas City. Hollis checks out for the Dragons. Tyler Cotton in. A 47-47 game with 10.5 to play. TJ Washington for Coffeyville. Accelerates, backhands the pass out front to Keon Queen. Now it is a spinning Marvin Johnson, a whistle.
Yeah, spun a little bit out of control for the traveling violation.
So the Dragons get the basketball back. Game knotted at 47. Clock working toward the 10-minute mark of the second half. It's been a good one. Cotton for the Dragons. Near side of the floor, Whitfield. J.J. Rhymes, top of the key. Rhymes holds. Whitfield handles on the side. Taylor at the top. Bandu fakes the shot, backs up with it to Whitfield. 9 to shoot. Whitfield throws it away. Coffeyville starts the break, and it's going to result in a flush at the other end for Marvin Johnson. Whitfield got up in the air, should have taken the shot, tried to swing it to the wing, turned it over, and Coffeyville has regained the lead, 49-47. We're going to have a timeout taken. The media timeout, 49-47, Hutchinson trailing with 9:52 to go. Back in. Dragons had battled from 7 down.
Is Marvin Johnson. Didn't play in the first game in Hutchinson. first game. TJ Washington to score in double digits, only scored 13. Johnson just dunked down his 16th point.
Dragons with the basketball, nearly 10 minutes to play. Near side of the floor, Curtis Hollis out in three-point country. Now Rhymes at the top of the key, tosses it in traffic to Bandu, and he is held. He was surrounded by a batch of players. Tough pass to complete, but they got it to Bandu, and he'll go to the free throw line.
It's definitely the right decision offensively, because now the officials are picking up on those arm bars and the post play underneath. If you displace somebody with a knee or with an elbow in the back, those things can be called. Not that they'll always.
Anthony Jones now out front. It is Coffeyville. Time to show some composure. In the corner, Rick Bandu with it. He actually got pushed backwards. Marvin Johnson picked up the foul. Now he has 4.
And that's big. Back-to-back fouls on your leading scorer for Coffeyville. And you'd imagine with 9 minutes left, Jay Herkelman would take out Marvin Johnson, unless he wants to see him play through a little bit and chance, but I would probably take him out.
Bandu will go to. There are a lot of players upset with how this game's being called at the moment, and I'm not suggesting that it's being called anything but properly. Bandu hits the free throw. That pulls Hutch to within 3, and another coming for the young man from Canada.
At this level, these guys are so powerful and strong and composed with body strength that there's this expectation you should battle through certain things.
Bandu hits both free throws to make it 51-49 Coffeyville. And now 9 minutes to play in this game. 3 in the air and missed. Missed by Anthony Jones. Rebound by the Blue Dragons. Sal Nuhu driving to the other end. 100 miles an hour down and did not get the call.
I think that's one of those that you would deem reckless abandon, and as players went to the ground, I heard heads hit the floor. They got to mop that up.
Wow. Official has to make a quick decision, has to make an authoritative call in that situation.
Well, when you mention crashing in as hard as he was, that's one of the things that is looked at. Is the player under control? Hence the player control foul, right? We call it an offensive foul a lot today, but originally more of that player control variety.
TJ Washington leaves it for Benton. Now it is Anthony Jones. Anthony Jones at the free throw line. Backing in, turns, shoots, doesn't get it. Nuhu rebounds. Dragons a chance to tie or take the lead on this possession. Tyler Cotton off to Bandu. Quick 3. Got it! Foul! Goes with it. Chance for a 4-point play for Bandu. Bandu knocked down his 3rd tray to put Hutch up 1. And a foul accompanies the basket, and that's the 3rd foul on Josh Hill. Devontae Bandu with a chance for a timely 4-point play for the Dragons. Got it. Bandu makes it 53-51 Hutch. TJ Washington. Sideline left to Quan Marshall. They work it on the right side of the floor, where it's Washington. Spins to try to get away from Cotton. And a whistle on the drive to the basket off foul call. And Coach Eck indicating offensive foul.
You know, I'd like to see the Hill before that last time out had 3 fouls. That should have been his 4th. I think up on the board they added it to J.J. Rhymes because he had.
Free throw is good by Washington. Little guard's a dandy. Young man from Tulsa, Oklahoma. This to tie the game at 53. Airborne and good. 53 apiece, 8 minutes to play. Bandu has it on the right side of the floor to J.J. Rhymes. Rhymes back to Bandu for three. Yes, again, Bandu! Bandu gives Hutchinson a three-point lead, 56-53. How about Devontae Bandu? 4 trays in the game. What a contest we have going, and it has been hard fought, and that is the understatement of the evening. Drive into the lane, and a kind bounce off the front iron for Casey Benton pulls Coffeyville to within 1. Now J.J. Rhymes from the side rings the bell for 3. And the Blue Dragons lead it again by 4, 59-55. Clock zeroing in on 7 minutes to play. For Coffeyville, Quan Marshall tries to bounce it inside, stolen away. Whitfield tosses it ahead. Bandu again for that's JJ, doesn't get it. Nice rebound, grabbed quickly by Keon Queen. Stolen, though, the outlet pass by Whitfield. Hooks it off to Cotton. Dragons have the ball back, a 4-point lead. Now Whitfield out in three-point country, not interested. Gives it to Bandu. And the Dragons slow it down just a little bit. Whitfield on the left side of the floor. To Nuhu up high. To Tyler Cotton, he'll take the 3. It is off the back iron. And the rebound knocked away, taken away by Coffeyville. Racing up the floor, TJ Washington fires it to the side. Benton in the air for 3. Bingo! Casey Benton for Coffeyville. What a basketball game. 59-58. Dragons, a timeout taken. 6:25 to go. We're back in half a minute.
So JJ's 3 that we thought was a 3 moments ago has been changed to a 2. This game is tied, Rusty, at 58.
Okay. Most important thing, get it right. Coach Eck obviously won't be excited about that. But the game is up there for the taking with 6.5 minutes to play. Hutchinson with the basketball, and every possession important. Bandu plays on the left side of the floor to Cotton. Nuhu at the free throw line. Nuhu starts a drive, got fouled on the drive. And that call is on Keon Queen, just his second. And Nuhu to the free throw line. Had 7 points in the first half, hasn't scored in the second. 1 of 2 at the free throw line. 68% free thrower. Free throw, short. Fouled in the act of shooting, he'll get another one. Dragons have missed 6 free throws in the second half.
The 7th miss overall.
Another free throw for Nuhu. To give Hutch the lead, got it. Nuhu puts Hutch up by 1. Coffeyville basketball, clock zeroing in on 6 minutes to go. Washington leaves it for Benton. Benton off to Quan Marshall. Now out near the half-court line, TJ Washington puts up an inexplicable 3, way short. Rebounded by Nuhu, and a whistle. The ball knocked out of bounds. Touched last by Coffeyville.
Coming back in, Marvin Johnson. Remember, he has 4 fouls. Got called for back-to-back fouls to get him to 4 when he had to come out. Keep an eye also now on Nuhu, who's having a good game, not only scoring, but moments ago pulled down his 8th rebound.
Rob Whitfield out front. Near side of the floor, Cotton. Cotton drives baseline. Fouled on his way to the basket. Tyler Cotton will get free throws.
And guess who it is? He just came back in, and Johnson picks up his 5th and final foul. He gone.
And make no mistake about it, that's a loss. He had 16 as he sits with 5:43 to go.
And he had 12 in the first half, so underproduced in the second half. Had such great things in mind probably for himself in the second half of play. Didn't get to play against the Blue Dragons in that first game of the season. And before he picked up those 2 fouls back-to-back earlier in this half with 9 minutes to go, he was building a good game.
Free throw missed by Tyler Cotton. He'll have another. Both teams are over the 10-foul limit. Blue Dragons at times this year have really struggled at the free throw line. Second free throw, Cotton. This one good. So 1 of 2 trips to the free throw line for the Dragons give Hutch a 2-point lead back at 60-58. For Coffeyville, Benton wants to drive. Dragons cut the drive off. Hill charges inside, goes up in the air, dishes it off, turns it over. Taken away by Nuhu. Dragons have the ball back in a 2-point lead. Ahead to Bandu. Bandu charges in, back to Whitfield for 3, in and out. Scramble for the rebound, knocked around. Josh Hill has it for Coffeyville. Off to TJ Washington. Washington tosses it inside and wide open for the lay-in is Keon Queen. We are tied at 60. For Hutchinson, Bandu works between the rings. Near side, Cotton. Cotton. JJ now down deep. Up and good. Muscling his way inside. I believe that was Nuhu.
His 11th point. He's having himself a night.
And a timeout taken. We'll take the break too. It's a short one. 4:46 to play. Hutch by 2.
Welcome back into Coffeyville, where the Blue Dragons are hanging on to a 2-point lead, 62-60, 4:46 left. Sal Nuhu, I mentioned going into the break, had 11. He actually has 10 points officially, 8 rebounds with it. He's put on quite a performance shooting from the floor, 4 for while he's pulled down those 8 rebounds. He's just a
Right now, the Dragon advantage is 2, 62-60. It'll be Coffeyville's basketball. 4:46 to go in a game in which the biggest lead, to my recollection, has been 8.
You'd be correct. Hutch did that with 12:25 left in the first half of play. Coffeyville led by 1 point at 7. That was earlier, you'll remember, in this second half.
And Coffeyville has the basketball in the hands of TJ Washington. Washington plays it on the right side of the floor. Now out front, it's Josh Hill. No threat from there to TJ Washington, who might be back out high. Now on the right side, Benton wants to drive baseline. Cut off by the Dragons. Comes out front with it. Handled by TJ Washington. 8 to shoot. Washington a long ways from where he'd like to get. Pulls up, takes a jumper, doesn't get it. Scramble for the rebound, and Coffeyville and Hutchinson battle for it. Did Coffeyville get a timeout called? If not, it's a tie-up. I think the Ravens got a timeout. And so we break again, a short variety timeout. 4:13 now to go, still 62-60 Hutch. It has settled down into just a good, hard-fought basketball game.
Yeah, both teams have had chances to go on runs. They've taken them. Both teams have started to hit threes at the same time. This is Blue Dragon basketball, Hutchinson's Country Station, Country 102.9 KHUT and KWBW 1450 AM and 98.5 FM, where Hutchinson comes to talk.
Casey Benton handles the inbounds, takes it out near the half-court line, off to Anthony Jones. Jones wants to drive, runs into traffic. I think he trapped. Oh, they're going to give him the basket and say he was fouled on the drive. Ooh, I thought I saw an extra step in there, but Anthony Jones gets credit for the basket. That ties it at 62, and the Hutchinson foul is on J.J. Rhymes for the third time. And Anthony Jones to give Coffeyville the lead, 76% free throw shooter, perfect on 4 tries in this game. And now perfect on 5, and Coffeyville has a 1-point lead. Whitfield brings it up for Hutchinson. Cotton on the left side of the floor. Nuhu at the free throw line. Off to Bandu. Bandu's knocked down 4 threes. Has it on the side. Charges into traffic. Got bumped. And a foul called. And Coffeyville, Anthony Jones now pleading his case. What did I do? There have been a lot of kids that felt like that in this game.
I think there are a lot of kids throughout the course of history that are that way, and it seems we keep going that direction the more and more we progress into time. You're asking yourself probably, how is Coffeyville, who got blown out by the Blue Dragons by 37 points in the arena earlier this year, able to do what they're doing? Well, it's simple. 3 players in double digits scoring to this point for the Red Ravens, only 1 in that loss earlier in the season.
Bandu has a couple of free throws, the first of which is good and ties the game at 63 with 3:44 to go. Literally every possession could be the one that decides this game. Bandu, second free throw, does not get it. Rebounded away by Coffeyville. It was Keon Queen that tracked down the Karam. 63-63, 3:35 to play. Anthony Jones has it out front, picks up his dribble, bounces it inside. A wild hook shot doesn't go. Dragons try to rebound. Coffeyville's Josh Hill comes out with it, and a three-pointer is up off the rim, and a foul on the rebound. It's going to be a push-off on Coffeyville's Keon Queen, his third foul, and the Dragons will go shoot free throws because it came on the rebound.
It goes down as his 4th foul. Momentarily, that was disastrous because J.J. Rhymes and Sal Nuhu went up, and they said to themselves, same team, and both of them went away from the ball thinking the other one had it. That's why Coffeyville came away with the offensive rebound in the first place.
Nuhu shoots 2. First one is not good. Dragons continue to really struggle at the line.
You know, it's already bad enough coming in at number 8 in the conference on free throw percentage. They have the second most attempts. They're just not making the most of them. It's interesting to see the reverse is true of the three-point game.
Nuhu's second free throw rattles around but goes in and puts Hutch back on top, 64-63. Nuhu comes out. Now the Dragons on the floor are Whitfield, Rhymes, Cotton, Mitchell, and Bandu. And for Coffeyville, it's T.J. Washington that brings it up. Washington goes left to Anthony Jones. Jones wants to drive, darts into traffic, tosses it to the wing, 3 in the air, and good by Casey Benton. Benton hits a big 3, and Coffeyville leads it by 2. 66-64, under 3 play. Lost it, got it back. Off its field, plays it over to Cotton. They back off of him. Cotton dribbles into traffic, spins, and a foul called, or at least a whistle. They may have called a travel.
Now Washington grabbed a hold of Cotton's arm down there by the left elbow, and the official had the perfect angle to see it.
So Tyler Cotton will go to the free throw line, where tonight he's 1 of 2. 2 shots. His team down 2. Free throw crawls in somehow. Did not look like it had enough impetus to get over the front rim, but it did.
Just barely did, and counteracting the 3 double-digit scores for Coffeyville, the Blue Dragons have 3 in double-digit scoring also.
Cotton hits both free throws, and we are again tied at 66. 2:35 to go. Hutchinson could definitely use a stop. For Coffeyville, Jones drives in, and a foul on the Dragons at the free throw line. Well, I tell you what, you're being rewarded in this game for aggressiveness.
Yeah, as long as you're under some type of control going in, you've been allowed to bury your shoulder, extend your forearm a little bit, and even back down at times with the defender being pushed back into the basket and get a foul called on him.
Jones to the free throw line, knocks the free throw down. He is 7 of 7, 6 of 6, has 14 points. Coffeyville back on top by 1. One more coming for Jones. 2:29 left. Second free throw. Good. Boy, he looks like he could sit there all night and make them. 2-point Coffeyville lead. Important trip down the floor for the Dragons. Right side to Cotton. Cotton bounces it down to Mitchell. Mitchell gets it inside, and it's a throwaway. Dragons can't handle the pass to the inside.
It was a great find, just a little bit too strong over a short distance for Cotton to handle.
So Coffeyville a 2-point lead and the basketball. Unbelievable situation with 2:10 to go. Anthony Jones, he loves again. And no call this time, ball loose. Jones saves it out front, taken by the Dragons. J.J. Rhymes challenges, throws it up. He'll go to the line to shoot 2. And we've got a near altercation.
And there's your double foul call by the official between Kai Mitchell and also Keon Queen.
Sad thing for Kai Mitchell, it's 5. Might be 5 on Queen.
One of those situations where after the play it gets heated. We've talked about the tension that was building up to a moment like this. And then when you square off face to face, sometimes it doesn't really matter what you say. If the body language looks bad enough, the officials will be on top of it.
It is perhaps the result of the way the game has been officiated, because a great deal of contact has been allowed. When that happens, kids get uptight. Anybody would.
Yeah, as an official, you end up playing makeup in that situation. So now you're forced, your hand is forced, which they have given to Queen, also Kai Mitchell, and them out of this contest with under 2 to go.
Mitchell fouling out without scoring. Queen fouling out with 4 points to his credit.
The weird thing from Mitchell, he only took 1 shot, and it was a 3-pointer. We didn't see the Kai Mitchell from 15 tonight that at least I was hoping to see.
2 shots for Bandu, or excuse me, for JJ. Missed it. Well, if the Dragons don't win this basketball game, they can look to the free throw line.
They really can. Subpar for even what they've done on the season. And just as a reminder, after a double technical, you go to the point of interruption is why he shot and missed.
Both free throws missed by JJ. 2-point lead for Coffeyville. All the way to the basket, and a foul as Anthony Jones takes it right down the lane. He'll get free throws. And Curtis Hollis will get his 3rd foul. Anthony Jones shoots 2.
He's the 4th player, by the way, in double-digit scoring for Coffeyville.
Jones hasn't missed all night. He is 7 of 7. He is 8 of 8. And one more to make it a 2-possession lead for Coffeyville with 1:38 to play. Two is good. Hardly made the net move. Coffeyville has the Dragons in a tough spot. 4-point lead for Coffeyville. A lot of time, though, a minute 30, but the Dragons need something good to happen. And the shot by Whitfield is blocked up in the stand. It'll stay with the Dragons. Coffeyville is fired up. Dragons need something to calm the Ravens down. They are sky high right now. Hutchinson will inbound, baseline left. 20 shot clock, down 4. Unbelievably, some of the crowd's starting to file out. And there is a push on the inbounds play. That one will go against Coffeyville's Casey Benton as he shoved Bandu. And Bandu will shoot a couple.
The officials going back to when this crowd got so hyped after that blocked shot by Keon Queen. He actually went over into that section where there's a bunch of students and I'm sure other athletes of other sports from this school and started slapping hands like he was getting ready to kiss babies and sign some autographs.
Bandu, free throw good. Now he needs another one. This to pull Hutch within 2.
Bandu, another big 20-plus performance tonight.
He has been very good. Couldn't play on Wednesday because of an ankle. Second free throw, good. 2-point game. Hutchinson needs a stop. A minute 24 to play for Coffeyville. TJ Washington off to Jones. Now Hill handles. Now in the hands on the side of TJ Washington. They drive to the inside. Shot missed. Scramble for the rebound, and it is a tie-up. It is a tie-up, and the arrow will leave it with Coffeyville.
Big block right before that tie-up by Sal Nuhu.
Coffeyville inbounds. They'll get a fresh 30. A minute 10 to play. Ball tossed out high where Josh Hill tracks it down. Gives it to Casey Benton. Benton, who's knocked down a couple of threes, probably not interested in that right now. Jones has it. Jones wants to drive. Takes it in. Floats it up. Doesn't get it. Scramble for the rebound. Coffeyville picks it up and a foul call. Hutchinson cannot get a rebound. They had a golden opportunity there, but instead it'll be 2 free throws for Coffeyville with 52 ticks to go.
Well, one of your best rebounders on the season and best rebounders in this game, Sal Nuhu, went so high for that block, he lost his feet on the way down, so he was on the ground when Coffeyville had that opportunity for the second chance.
Bandu, the foul, his second, and a couple of free throws coming for, I thought Queen had fouled out. He's still in there playing.
I had him for 5. Did we get ahead of the scorebook?
Yeah, we might have. Harvard. Evidently, he is playing with 4 fouls. Missed the second one as well. Both of them not good. Hutchinson the rebound. Dragons can tie or take the lead. J.J. Rhymes spinning into traffic. Tosses it to the side. For 3. In and out. Missed by Whitfield. Foul on the rebound. Hollis. And 39 seconds remain, and we go to the Coffeyville free throw line to shoot 2.
That's nothing to hang your head about, though. At halftime, we talked a little bit about being able to make that one extra pass. And rather than shoot a fadeaway from 16 over 2 defenders, Jay saw Bandu. It's the right look.
Yep.
Just didn't go.
And now the line. He's misses the first. One more for the big guy. .39 seconds left. The crowd quiets. The shot is up. It is no good. Rebound by the Dragons. Hollis. Whitfield has it. 30 seconds to go. Dragons cannot hold for the last shot. Hollis drives, got fouled on the drive to the basket by Anthony Jones. So now Curtis Hollis, who has struggled with his free throwing in this game, will get 2. A chance to tie with 29.6 seconds. He'll need to make both. He is 0 for 2 in this game, 25 of 42 on the year.
The Blue Dragons as a team down in the lower 60 percentile trying to make free throws tonight.
Hollis free throw, got it. 1 point Coffeyville lead. One more for Curtis Hollis. Young man from Arlington, Texas. Steps up, concentrates, flips, and hits. We are tied. No shot clock. Coffeyville can play for the last shot if so desire. TJ Washington out front. He's guarded by Whitfield. Line 18, 17, 16, 15, 14, 13. Still the dribble. Now starts a drive. Whitfield tries to stay in front of him. Puts an elbow into Whitfield. Tosses it in the corner. Back out front it comes, and Coffeyville will take a timeout. Shot went up. It went in for three. Doesn't matter. Coffeyville had taken a timeout. And we have 3.5 seconds left. I'm not sure how much. Yeah, 3.5 seconds left. Coffeyville will play it in. We're going to keep it right here. Don't want to take a chance on missing out on anything. 70-70.
You know, I think you saw that three-pointer go in from TJ Washington, but it was one of those relaxed, long three-pointers because he knew it didn't matter. The whistle had already blown. So as exciting as it may have looked for Coffeyville fans, it ends up being an opportunity for Coffeyville to set something up, knowing that the ball is not going to be in such a great position. It's out on the side where you like to be with 3.5 left. You have to work your way in for a good shot.
If they get it to somebody who, will the officials make the same call?
Created upper body by the offensive player. Look to see maybe a little bit of a reversal in that decision.